Welcome to the meeting of the Planning Committee on Tuesday the 15th of September. To receive any apology for absence.
All councillors are present.
Right. Item 2, a declaration of interest.
I've got, hello,
Yeah,
it's Rowan here. The first one we're looking at is 25 Abbey Road. I'm at 50. I don't know the people, so I don't think there's any need to comment.
No, that's not an interest, I don't think.
No.
Right, so we go on to do you agree to sign the minutes of the meeting held on the 18th of August 2020? Do you all agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
You move.
In that case, we move to item 4 to consider any planning applications received from Rushcliffe Borough Council. And first one, it has just been mentioned, 2002104 full, 28 Abbey Road, construction of first floor extension, raising the roof with rear dormer. Any councillor wish to comment?
I have no problems with that.
No, other than this year, I've got no objections.
Are you moving
Nothing from me.
accept that one?
Yeah, happy to do so.
Yeah.
Second for that? I'll second it myself.
I'll second it, yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, so are we all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Right,
Thank you, councillors.
right. We go on to second one, which is 20/02124 VAR, 25 Eaton Place, Pingham.
Can somebody enlighten me as to what business that is?
It
I'm
was
coming to
the,
that, Councillor Lewis, if you just give me a chance to finish, please.
Yeah.
Variation condition 3, planning permission 16/01945, change of use, extension of hours. It would appear it's somewhere in the Methodist Church, I believe.
it was the furniture shop up above, but it's gone. I think it's going to be replaced by a health club. So the application is to allow it to open till 10 o'clock at night, in the expectation that some people might, well, I think it's actually fitness instructors or something, might be there until late. I don't think there's anything particularly controversial about it from my perspective. I was quite comfortable with it.
It's from 6 a.m. as well.
Yeah.
So it's suggesting that it's open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. I don't think anybody has complained about it locally, so I can't see we've got any complaints.
I can't see any
No,
problems with that. No.
I can't see any problem either.
Councillor Prudy Horan,
Yeah, I'm happy to move that, Mr. Chairman.
do you have a seconder for that?
Yeah, I'll second.
I'll
In that
third
case,
them.
are we all in agreement with that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be visiting it.
Okay. Move to the third one then, which is 2002039 full, 7 Wyverton Road, ground floor, rear and side extension associated with internal and external alterations, including white rendering.
I've written down in my notes drains and trees, but I can't remember why on earth I wrote it down. But I don't think there was anything to complain about.
Mr. Chairman, Councillor Stockwood.
Councillor Stockwood.
Thank you very much. So there's one near neighbour on Spinney who's raised an issue about drains and trees. I think the tree issue is primarily a separate matter outside of the planning matter. The other person who's put on some concerns is the neighbour to the north, 5 Wyverton Road. So on the north side, Wyverton Road is it's coming down Tithby Hill or coming down off the hill. So there's a slight, as you go north, the properties are lower than to south. So the application property is in a run of 3 two-story properties, which connected by their single-story flat-roofed garages. Although the one on the southernmost one has put a hip roof on that, but so what the number 5 Wiverton Road is raising as his concerns is that he's going to be looking at a new expanse of 7.6 meters of solid wall, which is 3.2 meters high, and he feels that, or he or she feels that that new expanse of 3.2 meter high wall, which will be slightly above them because it's emphasised because of the slope of the road, is going to have quite an impact on their residential amenity. So it's difficult to see from the plans submitted, but there does seem to be a resident's concern from 5 Wiverton about the overbearing of that modern extension. So the modern extension is very nice frontage, but it does have a high side wall or down a section of it to hide the flattish roof that's behind it, behind the flat wall. So I think there is a valid concern from the resident there, and I would appreciate that if, we comment to the planning authority that the residents' concerns be properly investigated. It's difficult to see how the actual impact from the street, because it relates to at the back of their properties, but there is a concern there that's worth noting, I think. Thank you.
Yeah,
Councillor
may I make a
Councillor
may I
Wallace.
make a remark?
Councillor Wallace.
Councillor Wallace. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I do have some issues with this application. I know the properties involved. Actually, it's not all that far from where I live. There are 3 linked detached houses, in fact, and the application is to convert the garage at the front into an office with a rear room at the back and a dining room, I think, attaching to it, and it actually abuts the property next door. And what I couldn't work out from the plan was whether or not the mutual wall between the 2 properties, the one that comprises the garage at the moment, would be incorporated into the new plans. Now, the resident who's objected has objected on a number of grounds, one of which is that because it's currently a garage, there's very little in the way of soundproofing between the 2 properties, and he has a concern that it'll effectively turn the houses into a pair of terraced houses rather than linked detached houses, that there might be some noise available from each, and he also suggests that the person who's put in the application may well be using it as I think it's sort of a health beautician, so perhaps running a business from the front of the house. That sounds to me, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure about what the planning rules are around this, but it sounds to me as if it's a potential change of use of the property and running a business from it that abuts the person's property. So I do think on this case they might have some legitimate concerns. I'm willing to be led by councillors who have more experience in this field, but I do think there are some reasonable objections to the application as it stands at the moment.
Councillor Lewis.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think really what we've got to decide, or perhaps leave the planning authority to decide, is whether these concerns are actually material considerations which are relevant to the grant or refusal of planning consent, and possible soundproofing, I think, or lack thereof, I think is not. I'm not sure whether the presentation of an actual further expansive white wall is a material consideration either. I'm quite happy for them to be added as comments from a resident, but I'm not sure whether the planning committee would be obliged to take note of them.
Councillor John Stockwood, would you like to comment on, from the borough's point of view, of what the comments have been made as to whether they are valid concerns that we could pass through?
Well, the borough will come to their own views, Councillor Shelton, through the officer report. But based on my experience of being the chair of the planning committee in the past, I think With regards to it's difficult because the application is not for a beauty salon, it's for an office and a bedroom. So it could be the case that somebody begins to run a business from their home, but then it becomes a matter of are they having an impact on the residential amenity of the neighbours running that business, and is the business to what extent is the business the primary purpose of the property, or is it just a sideline sort of thing? Are they running it at that extent? So this has particularly become an issue in the current situation because a lot of people are working from home, and quite a few businesses perhaps are relocating to residential bases. But regarding the way forward, I should imagine that noise through the wall is perhaps a concern. I mean, it's an impact on residential amenity. Although I would suspect it would be more a matter of environmental health and building regulations, but there is a concern there from a resident. Regarding the application, whether it's a beauty salon, you'd have to say that you'd have to look at the application in front of you. I don't think it is the white cladding that's the issue. I think it's the sidewall and the extent to which that adds a new fills in almost up to the boundary along it through the back garden, because it's the extension to the rear that goes back about is 7.6 meters new or 4.4 meters beyond the back of the existing property. So there's certainly concerns being raised which are valid concerns for the planning officers to take note of. It's for councillors to decide as a committee whether you wish to support those concerns as comments or wish to actually object to this application on the grounds of overbearing and loss of residential amenity to the neighbour. So it's for the committee to discuss.
Do I have a proposer for one way or the other on this application?
Well, I have these concerns. I'm happy to propose that we object to the application as it stands at the moment.
Councillor Lewis, did you wish to say something?
Yes, I do, because I do have these concerns as to whether these are relevant matters to a planning application. So I would say I would prefer actually if we simply said that there were objections that have been raised by neighbours and leave it to the planning committee to decide whether they were relevant or not.
Right, okay. Councillor Prudy-Horan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm minded to agree with Councillor Lewis on this, that there may be some concerns raised by neighbours, but unfortunately, at this stage, we can really only class it as gossip. But if we don't formally object and move it along, we can raise comments along with the return, and obviously, the process, the officers will investigate it as appropriate. So I move the acceptance of it.
Councillor Wallace, did you want to come back on that?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to be led on this matter by those who have more experience of planning matters than I do. On that basis, I'm happy to withdraw my proposal to object and simply to note the comments made. If councillors are in agreement with that route forward, I'm comfortable with that.
So we have one motion before us now. One from Councillor Prudy-Horan. Do we have a seconder for it?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Right. In that case, then it goes to the vote. Those in favour of the motion, please show.
Yes.
Yes.
In that case, I think that's resolved.
Yes.
Oh. So we'll go on to the last one. 2001-8674, 5 Woodpecker Close, Bingham. Demolition of existing conservatory and construction of a single-storey rear extension with cladding, repositioning of gate in boundary wall. Any councillor wish to comment on this?
Other than to say that again, I have no objection to this application.
So you moving this one, councillor?
I'll have to move this one, yeah.
Do you have a second?
I'll second it. I'll
Right.
second it.
Right, in that case, that one goes to the vote. Are we all in favour?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To consider notice of planning decisions received from Rushcliffe Borough Council, that's Appendix C, which you have in front of you. 6, which is to consider additional comments to the planning opinion of 15 Skylark Close, Bingham, NG 13 8QH, planning reference 19/02537 and 20003564. If we have no other comments on that, I declare the meeting closed at 17 minutes past 7.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, councillors.
Joe, do we need to leave this one and join the next one?